10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack Whack Attack. Today is March 20th, and Atlas is live on Goerli mainnet. Sorry, Goerli testnet. So, sorry about that little tease. So here there was a post from Langers yesterday who said, attention testnet ODAO, the proposal to apply Atlas to our testnet Goerli has been raised and is available for voting. Please vote on proposal number 34 as soon as you can. If you haven't already, make sure you are running version 1.9 release candidate 1 RC1 of the smart node stack on your testnet ODAO node. Use Rocket Pool OOV to vote. The updated contract has been deployed and verified here, and then there's a link to the Goerli Etherscan page. So we have also released we have also used a release verification script to ensure that the code deploy matches our open source GitHub code. If you'd like to verify yourself, here is the script, and then there's a link to the script. It says once the vote can be executed, we'll apply the update and let everyone know when it's ready for beta testing. Rocket Pool. So that was cool. So let's give that some emojis, and then a little while later we got this update from Langers saying that the vote has already passed. So Atlas is now live on Goerli. Go and play around with withdrawals, with solo staker migration, with splitting your mini pools into LEB8s and all that good stuff. And of course, now that you earn some Goerli ETH, you can sell that. So it's a nice little benefit. But no, this is really great. It's a good step in terms of getting all the testing done for getting Atlas live. Getting Atlas live on April 13th, which is what the target is right now. So that's really cool. Thanks for that information, Langers. Okay, this was supposed to go into Friday's episode, but I missed, like, for some reason the link fell off my list. So here there's Langers. He said, hey everyone, in our effort for transparency, we would like to inform the community that we have paid out 2 low severity ImmuneFi bug bounties. The bugs relate to rational actors being able to slightly reduce the protocol performance, our rETH rewards, under certain market conditions. We do not usually pay out for low severity bug bounties, but we do intend on fixing these issues in the future release, and so we decided to pay out 50% of the medium bug bounty. Please let us know if you have any concerns. So it seems like no one really had any concerns, and it's all good. So yeah, I just thought I'd bring that to you all's attention as well, because of course, you know, we paid out a bounty, so that went out. So yeah, I guess there might be some more bounties coming out. The ImmuneFi bounty for Atlas will be turned on soon, so once that's turned on, then there might be some bounties available there as well. Of course, you know, don't wait for the bounty to tell about bugs in Atlas, because that wouldn't be nice. But yeah, I guess there's that. But yeah, Atlas is so close now, like 3 weeks away pretty much. So it's really exciting. Okay, so I'm wearing a Chainlink shirt today, because of this Chainlink news that we got. So Chainlink say, from commodity to liquid staking tokens, Chainlink price feeds underpin Web3 with highly accurate and reliable market data. Integrate the rETH price feed on Ethereum to build secure DeFi markets around Rocket Pool's liquid staking token. So here there's an announcement basically from Chainlink saying that the rETH price feed is now live, and then there's a link to their website. So when you click on their website, it says the trusted answer is 1 rETH is equal to 1.0695 ETH. And then they have all these different oracles here that are providing the information. There's 16 of them right here, and it seems like they're all live and they're all transmitting information, or like responding to information. So The last update was 22 hours ago, so I guess it's not a frequent update, but I'm not sure. And they do heartbeat checks, I guess, every certain amount of time. But this is actually a really amazing piece of software that was much needed. Euler, of course, kind of like released this news before it went live, and then we all know, well, yeah, Euler sadly was hacked last week for $200 million, so that was a real shame. But other services can now start using the official Chainlink rETH Oracle data here, which we know that was much needed for a whole bunch of DeFi services. So I'm hoping that rETH integrations will definitely grow in the next weeks and months to come because of that. And I'm really happy about that. And that's why I am wearing my Chainlink shirt today. So yeah, it was nice. Okay, so the GMC, the Grants Management Committee, paid out a grant to Knoshua in January to write research about the ODAO and what the ODAO does and doesn't do, and then also how some of those duties might possibly be taken away from the ODAO in certain ways, and what can be taken away, what can't be taken away, and what will need to happen in order to minimize more of the ODAO's duties and the Rocket Pool's dependence on the ODAO. So Knoshua had this update. He said week 4 update of my research, and then there's a link to Noshua's GitHub, and he says if you've read any updates in this channel, you've already seen some of it. This part is new though, and then there's a link to the new part. He's looking forward to getting some feedback on the idea from the community and the team. So if you have a look, here's a Git book that you can read. It says intro. This is my first report about ODAO duty research that was funded by the GMC in January 2023 grants round. And then there's like a table of contents, like overview of duties. It says in this section I go over the ODAO duties, including those that are introduced with Atlas, explain their purpose, and give an overview of how they work at the moment. I also touch on the level of trust these duties introduce for protocol participants. I feel this is important because trustlessness is a core value of Rocket Pool. It is not meant to take anything away from my excellent ODAO members, but rather to highlight the risks associated with ODAO nodes being compromised and the exposure the protocol has to government enforcement or court orders. So then there's a whole bunch of information here on the left that you can't quite see on your screen. It says ETH balance submission, MEV penalties, contract upgrades, scrub check, withdrawal credentials, reward tree, RPL rewards, RPL price submission, and then there's a to-do list here as well of ODAO settings, reward tree smoothing pool, scrub check solo migration, and scrub check LEB8 migration. And then the next section is verifiable off-chain calculations. And it says thanks to rocket scientist Valdorf and Popash, as well as Relic protocol researcher and developer TJ Becker for discussing this design and giving early feedback. So there's information about off-chain calculations right here. And then there's another one, guardrails, balance submissions, and Knoshua says, as discussed in ETH balance submissions in its current form, this duty creates a lot of exposure for rETH holders. This section explores removing it by limiting how much rETH price can diverge per update. So then there's some information here as well that you can definitely give a read of. And then there's this section, MEV penalties. It says this current version of MEV penalties allows any number of penalties to be applied to any number of mini pools, but there is no need for unlimited penalties. There are 50,400 blocks per week, so that is a guaranteed upper bound. If we assume that the Rocket Pool will not represent more than 33% network, then with 99.9% probability, Rocket Pool will not get more than 16,900 proposals per week. Using the current market share of 2.45% gives less than 1,300 proposals per week within 99.9% probability. So then you can have a look at this code and this information here as well, and check out what's going on there. And then just to go back to this, so this is the information that Noshua's sharing. So go give it a read if you are interested in ideas about the ODAO and its operation and its management. People started to give Knoshua feedback right away. Like Yorick here says, this is excellent, and then ask some questions about it, and other people were giving feedback as well. So yeah, this is really cool. Definitely go give it a read if you are interested in reading Noshua's research, and then head over to the research tab under protocol to ask questions of Knoshua or ask for explanations of certain things. So thank you, Knoshua. I'm glad you're putting the grant to good use. Okay, next we have this update from C3.app that say congratulations to Rocket Pool for achieving a major milestone by becoming the first carbon neutral staking protocol for Ethereum to offset its historic emissions. Rocket Pool chose C3, supporting nature-based projects via the NBO and renewables via UBO. So one of the things that we wanted to do, well, actually, let me just show this next tweet and then we can talk about it for a second. And then here we have a tweet from ClimateDAO saying carbon neutral liquid staking on rocketpool.net is now possible via ClimateDAO. Rocket Pool has offset its historic emissions on Ethereum and is now the first carbon neutral liquid staking token protocol. So let me just tell you the story for those of you who might not know. A few months ago, we had ClimateDAO submit a grant in January asking for money to offset about 650 tons of carbon that Rocket Pool released since its mainnet launch. The GMC actually decided to go with a higher estimate of 1,000 tons just to make sure that we had every situation covered. So when it came to making the announcement, we were not like lying, basically. We did it in as best faith as we could at the time as the GMC members, taking advice from ClimateDAO. So one of the stipulations we had was that the money would be used towards a certain kind of climate offset, and that was through nature-based projects and renewables. So ClimateDAO got in touch with their partners, one of which was C3 over here, and they were able to offset the carbon for us using nature-based projects and renewables. I'm not sure if they've written a report yet, but if the report comes out for of how they spent their money, sorry about the muting that, if there's a report that comes out about how they spent their money, I'll definitely cover that on Rocket Fuel. Okay, next we have this message that came from Denise, who works for Alphaday, who said, "Hi Rocket Pool community, Denise from Alphaday and Rocket Pool grant awardee from January 2023 here. We built a Rocket Pool community and ecosystem dashboard and wanted your feedback on it. What data would you like us to add, remove? How would you like to change the layout of the widgets? What else would you like to see here?" And then it says, here's a link to the board. And of course, I'll put that board in the description of the video as well. So here, I'm sorry about the left side of the board and a little bit of the right side of the board getting cut off, but you can see that there are price feeds here and tweet feeds with a Rocket Pool Twitter list, and there's news about Rocket Pool, so it gets things like from Cointelegraph and Crypto Potato, Defiant, CoinDesk, wherever there's news that goes out, they have it on the top left dashboard, and then they have price here, and then the TVL of the protocol, and then we have like the Twitter list, but we also have the Rocket Pool blog from Medium that has information, so you'll see like bi-weekly updates there and info about Atlas. There's a link to the latest Rocket Fuel episodes here on the top right, although that episode is not the latest episode, so I'm not sure how it's gathering that information. And then you have topics from the forum, any podcasts that mention Rocket Pool get pulled into here, so you'll hear things like Daily Gwei, ETH Daily, etc. And then there's information about the different security like audits and stuff we've had, videos featuring Rocket Pool, and then the link directory, and top posts from Reddit, and a whole lot of other things. So it's a really like comprehensive like suite of information that they've put together here. If we go back to Discord, people started already giving some feedback, but are saying my brain cannot process that much information. And then he said you can remove widgets by dragging them to the dustbin. The idea is to customize it to fit your workflow. And then a reuptake says it looks a bit chaotic. I try to create sections like news section, RPL section, and so on. And then Ginsler Maxi says I'd put RPL in ETH, not in USD terms, and people were like giving some good feedback. And then he said thanks for the feedback. Right now we've tried to put the most popular widgets on top in news, price, Twitter, blog, etc., and less used widgets like FAQ, dev resources, etc. closer to the bottom. Would you recommend something like links directly higher up? I wouldn't recommend that, but I'm not sure. And then, they were taking that feedback quite seriously. So definitely go check out the dashboard, and then put some comments in trading where Denise asked for feedback, and you can just tag Denise in your feedback, and I'm sure they're going to listen to it. So that's really great. Yeah, thank you, Denise from Alphaday, for that. Okay, next we have this post from Rocknet, and actually it ties into something that I want to talk about as well, so it's really nice the way it's worked out. Rocknet says, I don't think this is submission worthy, so I'll put it here in trading instead. I'd like to challenge the Rocket Fuel community, because we're more likely informed than the average bear, to pick an hour or two per week to cover a shift in support. You likely know more than you think, and sometimes just walking people through upgrades is helpful. An example, you'd never guess how many people haven't updated to version 1.9.0, release candidate 1 on Goerli. They came in wondering why their testnet node is down, and because they're using pre-Shapella clients, sometimes just walking them through, looking at logs and setting them at ease is providing help. Worst case, you don't know enough to help. You can observe people like Patches, Yorick, Object, etc., giving great info, and you pick something up for next time. I'm finding it quite addictive, actually. Of course, maybe it's because the work I'm supposed to be doing is my taxes, but have a good weekend, everyone. So this is actually a really, 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 really good comment, and like this is sending out a message to the Rocket Fuel community, because we all are like more informed than the average of what's happening in Rocket Pool. So it's really we're good candidates for this. For those of you who used to watch a couple of months ago, I used to do work you did. So I did a similar challenge to the one that Rocknet is mentioning here, but it wasn't just for work and support. It was any work that you did over the last week that was pretty much like an hour or more. And I used to give shout outs to people on Tuesday's episodes. So I'm going to start doing that again from tomorrow's episode going forward. I kind of fell off for a week or two for some reason, and then I kind of forgot about it. So sorry about that. But I'm going to start giving out submission POAPs to people who provide an hour of work, and they can put that in the submission thread as well. So I'll tell them how to do it, and then I can cover that in the episode, and they can get a chance to win the raffle as well. So I think that would be a nice incentive to get people to do some work. So Rocknet, the work that you're suggesting in support, that is definitely possible to be a candidate for that, and then any other work as well. So let's all of us work together to get people in the Rocket Fuel community, like the sub community, going out there and doing some really good work. And I think it'll be really good for everyone if we can do that. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay, next we have this info that Fizz shared. He says, is it fair understanding that Rocket Pool operators can easily and safely participate in the CLWP broadcast? And there's a link to GitHub. So you might not know what the CLWP broadcast is. Now's the time for you to learn. So the idea is that there are people out there whose nodes have been hacked or compromised in some way. And of course, all their funds are locked until the Shanghai / Capella hard fork happens. So one of the things that happens under the hard fork is that solo staker node operators will be able to set something called withdrawal credentials, which are things that are already in place for Rocket Pool. So it just means that your node address is not the address at which you will receive your rewards. It will go to a separate address, and that should be a hard wallet basically, and that hard wallet will then have all your any ETH that comes into your node will go directly to that hard wallet. Also, if you exit your stake, then the ETH from your node can only be sent to your withdrawal address, nowhere else. So what's this thing that Fizz is sharing? So basically it says the consensus layer withdrawal protection is an optional way to set your Ethereum validator withdrawal address as securely and early as possible. By submitting your signed validator withdrawal address to this repository, we will broadcast this message to many volunteers and add large node operators using low latency bots. As each PLS signature is cryptographically generated, these messages may be verified by anyone in the community and are impossible to forge unless the seed phrase is compromised. If the seed phrase is compromised and a contested signature is received by this repository, we will remove all submissions for the given validator and arbitrate the issue using a Kleros curated list. CLWP submissions are generated using ETHDO and staking deposit CLI for full documentation, and then there's some information there about what happens. So basically the way this works is that you will sign a transaction on your node, and you will stake 0.474 ETH per validator for 1 week, and gas costs, and then you will broadcast a message about your withdrawal address. And the idea is that people who opt into this service will include your message as soon as possible to make sure that any potential hacker isn't able to steal your funds. So that is the purpose of this. It's just a really big community project to try to protect people who might be in that compromised situation. So there's a whole lot of support here about how that works. And then there's a volunteer section here. It says we welcome every node operator to volunteer by loading the CLWP submissions into their node in advance of the Capella hard fork on each chain. So, and then there's a copy of the code here that you can do. And then that's what you have to do. So Fizz posted this in support, and he says, is it like fair understanding that Rocket Pool operators can easily and safely participate in this CLWP broadcast? And then Patchy says yes, there's a little bit of supply chain risk with ETHDO, but assuming that it's well secured, it shouldn't be a problem. Rocket Pool node operators just have to expose their BN RPC ports in the TUI. And then Superfizz says ETHDO is a JGM tool. It's likely one of the best developed tools we have access to in all of Ethereum. And Patchy says, yeah, I know, I just don't want to assume anything about their OPSEC. The usual be careful where you download software from, maybe read it and build it from source. Warnings always apply. And Fizz says very appropriate, and I appreciate that. And he says, I wanted to verify that it's generally safe to encourage Rocket Poolers to do this. As one, it's a community service, and two, there's likely to be an incentive. So if someone wants to write a guide for how Rocket Pool node operators can get involved in this protection, then please share it with me in submissions. Like do a step-by-step guide basically of like, first you paste this into your CLI and then you unlock this in the TUI, kind of like a doc basically for how to do this. And I think if that happens, Fizz, if you're listening to this, if someone can produce that document, then I'm really happy to go through it step by step on Rocket Fuel to make sure that as many of our ETH brethren are protected when the hard fork occurs, because the last thing we want is a whole bunch of nodes getting drained right as the hard fork happens. So thank you for sharing that, Fizz. And finally, I'm going to share something that is slightly off topic here, but here we have Ramana who's saying poker anyone, and then there's a dashboard here and it says looking for improving the interface and finding bugs in the game logic contract, and then there's the GitHub for it is called Hodlum, and this is a game that was developed by Ramana, and Ramana says that this is a decentralized poker game on Ethereum. Development is progressing. I'm actively seeking collaborators and playtesters and would love to hear from anyone interested. Then he says this is a screenshot. There's more in the thread, and then that thread, actually let me just get that thread for you all. Oh wow, there's a whole lot of posts in this thread. It actually started in February, so let me just show you here. There's like over 1,000 posts in there, so have a look at the thread, and you can get information here about how to play on-chain poker. So there's a bunch of community members who are commenting here, like Annie Subterra and Valdorf and like a whole bunch of others who are providing information, like Knoshua is here too. So definitely check that out if you want to learn about getting randomness on Ethereum. That's really cool. If you want to play poker, that's up to you. I don't encourage gambling of any kind, but that's your prerogative. And there you go. So I just thought I'd give a shout out to Ramana, and you guys can go and check that out if you are interested. So on that note, I am going to end today's episode. There will not be an episode tomorrow. There will be an episode on Wednesday. Wednesday will be the next episode. I'm going down to 3 episodes a week for the next, I want to say 2 weeks, but it might be 3 weeks. And then after that, I'll be back to 5 episodes a week. It's just there's like some stuff happening, and like you all know that I'm moving and stuff, and there's some stuff in my personal life that means that I won't be able to put out 5 episodes a week. I'm going to try to, but I don't know if it's going to be possible, so we'll see how things are tomorrow. But otherwise, I will talk to you all on Wednesday, and I hope you all have a lovely start to your week. Bye.